Writer's Log 91617, Saturday, 8:30 p.m. Well, I wish we could have stayed more in that hotel. Place looked awesome. But the fact that my dad, I think in his view, didn't want to spend a fortune to stay for the weekend, we had to take off. But if you were to know my dad, you would know that he's not one for relaxation time. It was about 5 in the morning when we left. My dad was the one who drove us home, and that's because I'm not one to drive that early in the morning. Well, to be really honest, I do it on certain occasions if I have a high level of willpower to drive that early in the morning. By the time we got home, we took a little rest, and then we had to check the generator to see if it would still run. Now, I gotta say, generators go through hell doing one job for the house. Literally a week worth of non-stop running. I mean, you gotta feel bad for machines like that. So after we took a shower, me and my dad got suited up to go back to the school. Now, our main objective for that hour was to open all the shutters of every window in the school. That objective was passed to me and to the other worker. By the way, the other worker's name is his name is Donald. What a surprise. Yeah, I know. In the beginning, it went pretty smoothly. I mean, the only reason why we didn't struggle with moving the shutters was because we added some WD-40 to the sliders. And this was a week prior. By the time we got to finishing the first half, we were already showered with sweat. So much I had to get like 2 water bottles for each of us. Good thing the water was ice cold. It's just really satisfying when like you're soldering on, and along with the water, it's just it makes it that much rewarding and satisfying. And if I can remember, by 1 in the afternoon, we soldiered on as much as we can to get all these windows open, and we managed to do so. Just as soon as we put back the stuff we were using, we thought we would just wrap up the day. Had to wait a while because we got word from my dad that there was something extra to do. My dad got that news from this other guy who's working for the school also. And unfortunately, that was not the case at all. So it was just a complete ruse. So we all went home after half an hour of waiting. Just halfway to getting home, I get a message from my mom saying that the generator gave out, which is really weird because I thought we switched up for a new tank. Once we got back home, we went straight to the generator, give it a diagnosis on what happened, and as it turns out, the sensors and the actuator burned out. As you can no doubt tell, that was just bad news for everybody and anybody. That's just bad news completely. With that being said, the tables are turned. We surpassed a whole week without power, and we've now lost our generator. A real heavy issue to deal with because we all reminded ourselves on the time when we were being updated on the news about FPL bringing the power back. To make this real simple, we were originally told that it was going to come back in our area today or tomorrow. Then nearing the news last night, they said it was delayed to Tuesday, and that really ticked us off. So we were trying to come up with a plan to see from there, what do we do? Later on in that hour, we saw a whole bunch of FPL trucks passing by, repairing some cable posts in every other part of the neighborhood. So that got our hopes up for the moment, because if they're around, chances are they could get some power back on our side and the neighbors who are waiting also. And just our luck, there was one that was coming our way on the far east side of our neighborhood. This all started happening at around 6 in the evening. As soon as we spotted about two of them one street ahead of us, there were two that came on our side. They had just checked one of the posts that were out. There was me. There was me. There was my family. There was about, I think, four other neighbors that came outside to see if them having to show up was going to end all sufferings. In relief type of way, not negatively. If you can catch my drift. All that happened afterwards was just them driving across. That was it. Went back inside and back to square one, just planning. But before that, we started, having a regular conversation just to pass the time. 2 minutes go by and it was like an amazing moment. In the blink of an eye, just boom, the power just came back on. All of us were celebrating and hugging each other, and for some strange reason, and let me tell you, I don't know how my sister got her hands on it, but she had like this small foghorn, like the ones that you would have for parties or for like sporting events, like if you were to go to a Dolphins game or a football game, however you want, like whichever sports team you're interested in. Yeah, she just used it, just ran outside and just blasted a few shots of the foghorn. Lucky enough for us, there weren't any cops around, so if there were any, like we would have gotten in trouble. I gotta tell you, when they came back on, everything in my body just shook. I was beyond happy, but before I would go on and just go back to doing my daily routines when I usually have power, I had to make an important call to my best friend Yesenia to see if she got power back. As soon as she answered, she told me she didn't have hers back on yet. And I think there was only 2 hours after the call, she got it back too. So, there you have it. To summarize this whole experience of us living in Miami Gardens, going through Hurricane Irma, we lost power on Saturday, September 9th at about 11:50 a.m. all the way to Saturday, September 16th at around 6:20. This has literally been the longest experience of a power outage I had ever been enduring in my life. I hope and pray that the people who went through this, along with us, should never have to experience this animosity ever again. I guess that makes me a new storyteller for people wanting to ask, where were you when a hurricane hit the state of Florida? Out of anything that could have been said to give a simple description on a series of turmoil with Mother Nature, it's no secret. It was hell on earth.